Hello, welcome to a quick video on nutrition, whether that's running, hiking, walking, swimming, cycling, anything else actually. It's all about balance in nutrition. So if you know, you are probably aware, if you know me at least, you're probably aware that I'm part of the way through and still working on a book for runners all about nutrition. It follows on from my first book, the top 10 in Amazon best-selling book, The Runner's Guide to Injury-Free Running. And this will be a slightly different approach in the sense that The Runner's Guide was probably about 30-40 pages, I think, from memory. The nutrition book will be somewhat different. It'll be much bigger. It'll be about 100 pages there or thereabouts. That's the working draft anyway. The working draft based on the chapters I've pre-planned out. So we'll see how that goes. About 54 pages in, and obviously as a writer of non-fiction you have to check sources, work out what goes where in a book and all of that, and there are some things which belong in certain chapters absolutely, and others they space out across the whole book and form something of a theme. And balance is one of those things, one of those themes that I can tell you right now runs through my book on nutrition without a shadow of a doubt. So balance really forms part of any sports nutritional strategy, any sports person's nutritional strategy, and it's a key plank for getting the extra bit of edge. Perhaps you want to be a bit faster in your sport, perhaps you want to beat a competitor, or you just want to toe a different start position, whatever that might be. When I came to nutrition, it was after pushing myself through speed workouts, hill reps, tempo, fartleks, intervals, all of that. It was after doing the foundational stuff for the first 3 years, and it took me a long time to get my head around changes that I needed to make with my diet. And the reason it took me a while was because I didn't have a starting point. Obviously, we're all familiar with eating for eating's sake, and we're all familiar with eating for energy. But it's a bit different when you're actually training really hard for something and you are looking to find not just equilibrium or the perfect balance of food going in, but actually looking to get the edge. Whether that's over your own performance or somebody else's or whatever your outcome is kind of irrelevant, because nutrition, I discovered, was a real, not just a key part of my strategy, but almost a winning difference. Certainly a difference that made winning possible in an easier way. So you might be looking to reduce your racing weight. I've got a separate video on that on YouTube. You might be looking to get some of the goals we just talked about, but whatever you find, that word balance keeps for me, at least in my research and in my training, cropping up, especially with the people I've trained as well. Everybody's body's different, but you will find that there are key things you can do. So you might be saying, well, give us an example, Jeff, get some practical stuff in here. So I will do. Look at the recommended daily amounts of vitamins and minerals we take. And you might think, well, what does that apply to me? Let's say you're a runner like me and you're looking at the RDAs, and there's often said, you may have heard of it yourself, a line for vitamin C where it doesn't really matter how much you take, unless you've got other health conditions. It doesn't really matter how much you take, because ultimately with vitamin C, it exits the body through the usual waste removal system. Well, whilst that's probably true for runners, if you are competing and you are training to compete in whatever race that is, it might be a better score at parkour or it might be something else, you will find that an overconsumption of vitamin C reduces your performance by, I think from memory, 3 to 4%. Now, you work hard as a runner for point something of a percent, and you don't want, as you're doing in many sports I'm sure, and you don't want to lose a cracking 3 or 4% just like that because you had a couple more vitamin C tablets than you should have done. So balance popped up there. I couldn't believe that when I read it, and that'll definitely be going in my book if it's not in already. And something like that seems innocuous, doesn't it? Just vitamin C, it's good for you, right? And we know that it is in most cases. But to perform a negative outcome on your performance like that, I think is quite remarkable. It's not on its own. Vitamin C isn't the only purveyor of such interesting results. There are lots. You look at caffeine fasting, for example. Well, there's not necessarily a negative outcome to that for most people. You have to tread carefully going into it. I certainly did, and I advise my runners, who are my coach, to do the same, because the 7-day caffeine fast was the advice. I think it was the University of Western Australia that came out with it originally. Forgive me if that's wrong on my little walk here today, but yeah, so you caffeine fast for 7 days, and then at the end of that you caffeine load day of your race, and off you go. Performance improvements come along. For me, I found that what came along on the first day of my caffeine fast were incredibly debilitating headaches. I'm not going to say they were migraines, but they were pretty damn unpleasant, and they lasted for a good 24 hours or so. So I wanted to try and reduce that. So the next year I changed, because of course that could be a day, it's a day in your tapering period at the very least. If you're 7 days out from a race, you should be tapering at that point. You want to find that balance 100% between racing, prep and tapering. Anyway, I decided the next year to do things different. I did a 10-day fast. So I had day 10, a couple of cups of tea or coffee in the afternoon, and during the day less than I would do normally. The next day it was 1 in the afternoon or the morning, and then the final day it was 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the morning. The final day it was 1 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon, I don't remember which. So I went from a couple less to just 2 to 1 on day 8, and then day 7 of my fast I carried on. That for me was balance. I found my own balance. It wasn't prescribed by anybody. The official study didn't include that, but that worked for my body, something that I try and include with my coaching clients to make sure they understand there are things that we can do that are different, that will benefit you, whoever you are, as an individual, that might not be in the textbooks or the guidance out there, because one size doesn't fit all. You have to find balance for you. I hope this video has been useful. I hope you found some gems of insight in it. If you'd like more information about any aspect of running, please let me know, or walking. Jeff at focusperformance.co.uk. You can find that in this video description if it's on YouTube. And of course, we take you away on trail running, hiking, wild swimming, yoga, Pilates, weekends too. So if you're interested in those events, do let me know. And of course, for coaching, I'm always interested in coaching clients. I do have a maximum between 7 and 10 though, but if I've got a gap, I'll happily help. If we can work together, I'll be very happy to help you. Catch you soon. Bye.